Hello my dear students. So I hope you all are doing great. So myself Madhu Yadav and I am a senior lecturer for zoology, and today I am going to discuss a very nice topic with you, that is human health and diseases. So this is a chapter in which nearly 5 questions, 4 to 5 questions definitely are being asked every year in NEET exam. So obviously it is a very important chapter. And from this chapter, I'll be teaching you today the immunity part. Okay, so let's get started. So, dear students, what is immunity? Do you know what is immunity? Do you know that we all have a superpower? We are so powerful because we are coming in contact with so many pathogens every day, everywhere. Okay, everywhere there are so many disease causing microorganisms. And we are not getting disease. Why we are not getting disease every time? Why we are not falling sick every time? Only sometimes we fall sick, right? So because of this superpower, that power is immunity. So dear students, let us write what is immunity. Immunity is the ability. You all have this ability to fight. Not with each other, okay? Don't fight with each other. So this is the ability to fight with whom? This is the ability to fight with disease causing microorganisms. Disease causing organisms. And these disease causing organisms are called as, what are these? These are called as pathogens. Alright? So now you should know few terms related to immunity. Like there is a term antigen. Pathogen I have told you already. There is a term antigen and there is a term antibody. Okay. These are the very important terms which we will be using again and again when we are discussing about immunity. So what is antigen? Antigen is something which generates the antibody. Here anti means what? Here anti means antibody. See, we can write antibody in short AB, and we can write antigen in short AG. So here I am explaining what is antigen. When we break this term antigen, antibody generating substance. So anything which leads to the generation of antibodies in our body is known as antigen. Very simple, isn't it? So antibody generating substance. Okay, antibody generating substance. Antibody generating substance is known as antigen. So what is antibody? So this antibody is a protein. It is a glycoprotein which is produced by the cells of your body. Okay, which cells of your body? See, you have an immune system. This immunity, this power, the power which is present in your body is provided by the immune system. This immunity is provided by immune system. So in the immune system, just like in every system, there are some organs and cells. In the immune system also, there will be some organs and cells. So, those cells are lymphocytes. Okay, those cells are lymphocytes. And these lymphocytes will be of two types, B cells or B lymphocytes, T cells or T lymphocytes. So, here these B cells, they will produce these antibodies. Okay. So antibody is what? Antibody is a protein. It is a protein. Okay. It is a protein produced against what? Against antigen. Okay. So antibody is a protein produced against antigen. And who has produced these antibodies? B cells, B lymphocytes. Okay. So here I am going to discuss immunity mainly, so that you will be clear about what is immunity and what are the different types of immunity, right? So let us move to the types of immunity. So here if you see, we have two types of immunity. Initially, we are dividing the immunity into two parts. One is innate immunity, another is acquired immunity. So let me explain you what is the difference between innate immunity and acquired immunity. When we talk about innate immunity, when we talk about this innate immunity, this is present by birth. Okay, we have this power by birth only. Okay, it's not like we have got this power after birth. We have not acquired it after birth. This power, innate immunity, is present in us by birth. So how it is present? It is present in the form of certain barriers. So what are barriers? You all know barriers are to stop something. Okay, so you also have to put barriers. Okay, when you are studying, you have to keep your phone aside. Okay, you have to, keep a clock and you have to check time, but you don't have to keep mobile with you to check time, right? So you also keep barriers when you are studying. Just like that, for the entry of pathogens in the body, we have some barriers so that the pathogens cannot enter in our body. Okay, so the innate immunity consists of mainly four types of barriers. Okay, so I will discuss these four types of barriers, and all these four types of barriers are not specific for any pathogen. They work the same way for all the pathogens. Okay, for example, I teach the same way to all my students. So I am not getting specific for any student. Okay, just like that, this innate immunity is not specific. It is non-specific. Non-specific means it's same for everybody. Okay, I have it, you have it, everybody has the same immunity, and for the same pathogen, for every pathogen it's the same. Okay, so innate immunity is a non-specific type of defense. Very, very important line of NCERT. It is a non-specific type of defense. Non-specific type of defense. So it is not at all specific. It is same for every pathogen. It is not different for different pathogens. Alright. So let us continue with the four types of barriers here. The first type of barrier we have got is physical barrier, everyone. Physical barrier. Next type is physiological barrier. Physiological barrier. Third type is cellular barrier. And fourth type is cytokine barrier. Okay. So physical barrier. See, when any pathogen tries to enter into your body for the very first time, it comes in the contact of your skin. Yes or no? It can enter into your body through your skin, or else it can enter into your body through the tracts we have. The major tracts of the body are gastrointestinal tract, through which we take food and water. The respiratory tract is another major tract because we are respiring through it, right? Then there is urinogenital tract, urinary tract and reproductive tract. Together can be called as urinogenital tract, right? So these are the major tracts. So in all these major tracts, there is a mucus coating inside, and that mucus coating is going to trap the pathogens. It is going to trap the microbes which are coming to our body to cause the harm, to cause the disease. Alright, so in the physical barrier, two things will come. Very, very important question. Okay, they will directly ask you by giving the examples, like skin is a physical or physiological or cellular or cytokine barrier. So obviously your skin is a physical barrier. Your skin is a physical barrier. Then you have a mucus coating. You have a mucous membrane or mucus coating in your major tracts like GIT, the respiratory tract, and the urinogenital tract. So in the major tracts of the body through which the pathogen can gain entry, in those tracts mucus coating is there to trap the pathogens. Okay. So this is the first barrier. Coming to the next barrier, if at all the pathogen has taken entry into your body, then also we have some barriers. Like if it is coming with the food and water, when the pathogen will go into your stomach, it has acid. Yes or no? Isn't it? Have you got acidity anytime? That is because of the acid being produced in your stomach. So that acid acts as a physiological barrier. Okay, if some dust particles, along with that some pathogens are going in your eyes, then tears are coming. In your tears also lysozyme is there. That is an antibacterial enzyme. So this is also a secretion which comes under physiological barrier. Then when you take food in your mouth, saliva, that has also got lysozyme. So all the secretions which are trapping the pathogens, or they are restricting the growth of pathogens, all those secretions comes under physiological barrier. So under the physiological barrier you have got secretions. What secretions? Such as saliva, such as acid in your stomach, such as tears. Okay. One more example I will give you. You have earwax. Earwax is getting secreted in your ear, right? So that earwax is also trapping the pathogens which are trying to enter through your ear. So you are not letting them enter because you are secreting earwax, right? So earwax. Or even your skin is secreting some oil, sebum, that can also be called as a secretion, and that can also come under the physiological barrier. Alright. Now in the same physiological barrier I want to include one more thing which you get every time whenever a pathogen enters into your body and trying to cause you the disease. Okay, so you get fever, your body temperature increases. So now people must be thinking fever is bad, hai na? But no, it is not bad. It is actually working for your body so that pathogen cannot grow at that high temperature. Okay, so it restricts the pathogen growth. Okay, so fever is also a response of the body. It comes whenever any pathogen trying to do the disease. Your body is trying to stop the growth of the pathogen by increasing the body temperature. So fever is also a physiological barrier. Even the pH, at different parts of your body there is different pH. For example, in the stomach there will be acidic pH. So there are so many pathogens which cannot grow in that acidic pH. Okay, so fever, pH, all these secretions, they all comes under the physiological barrier. Now if at all the pathogen is like very, very rigid, tough, it has decided that I will go in the body and I will go in the blood and I will cause the disease. Then also we have got cells in our blood. Okay, so I am talking about WBCs. You must be knowing that 3 types of cells are present in our blood: RBC, WBC, platelets. Now the WBCs, I am talking about WBCs here. They are very good for us. They are very good cells. They are protecting us from the pathogens by phagocytosing the pathogen. So some phagocytic cells are there. Yes or no? Do you know the phagocytic cells? Do you know phagocytosis means what? So there are some phagocytic cells and there are some non-phagocytic cells also. There are some non-phagocytic cells also. So I am talking about phagocytic cells first. If you see in your body you have monocytes. Monocytes, we are calling them monocytes when they are present in the bloodstream. They are looking everywhere in the blood to eat the pathogen. If they will get any pathogen, they will just trap it, eat it, destroy it. So the pathogen will not be able to cause the disease, right? So what they are doing, this process is phagocytosis. Eating of the pathogen is phagocytosis, right? So monocytes are doing that in the blood. when the same monocytes are going into the tissues, these monocytes, when they are going into the tissue, when there is a pathogen in the tissue, they are turning into macrophages. So monocytes, macrophages, they are the phagocytic cells. Okay, then one more cells, they are phagocytic, they are called as PMNLs, polymorph nuclear leukocytes. PMNLs are what? Nothing but neutrophils. Okay, so you have got so many types of WBCs. That is a different part. Okay, the different types of WBCs. So there are total 5 types of WBCs in that, which you have studied in the body fluids and circulation chapter. Alright, so PMNLs are nothing but neutrophils, right? Neutrophils are also phagocytic cells. Coming to the non-phagocytic cells, we have got natural killer cells. Oh my God, they are going to kill. They are killer cells, okay? So, but they are good for us, okay? They are killing the pathogen only. So, they are a type of lymphocyte and they are killing the cells in which pathogen has entered, okay? So, they are protecting us from the pathogen, alright? So, natural killer cells are a type of lymphocyte. You can remember they are a type of lymphocyte. Coming to the last barrier, that is cytokine barrier. So see, our body, it is very, very, wonderful. Our body is teaching us amazing things, like to be selfless, okay? Our body is telling us that we have to be selfless. If we are in trouble, we should not want that others should also get that same trouble. So just like that, there are cytokine barriers. If any virus has entered into a cell, if this is a cell and virus has entered, now this is a virus infected cell, okay? Now this virus infected cell is secreting some proteins and those proteins are going to the non-infected cells and those cells will be saved. So basically the infected cells are trying to save the non-infected cells by secreting cytokines. So I hope you are understanding this, that the infected cells are selflessly, they want the other cells to be prevented from the viral infection. So here in the cytokine barrier, the virus infected cells, they will secrete a secretion which is called as interferons. And these interferons, they are going to prevent other cells. They are going to prevent the other cells which are not infected. So see, it has given us a nice message, isn't it? Alright. So this was all about innate immunity. Okay. Now coming to the another type, that is acquired immunity. So this is the immunity which we get after birth. Okay. This is the immunity which we get, which we develop after birth when we come into this beautiful world. But in this world there are so many pathogens also, and these pathogens are trying to cause the disease. So when these pathogens are coming into our body, we are developing resistance against them, and that is acquired immunity. Okay, so here in this acquired immunity, I would like to tell you that it is specific. Okay, it is, first of all, it is acquired after birth. It is acquired after birth. Okay, and there are four important properties of acquired immunity. Four important properties, like I will talk about the first one, specificity. I have already told you that innate immunity was non-specific, but acquired immunity is specific. It is not like innate immunity. It is not same for every pathogen. For every pathogen we have different types of antibodies getting produced. Okay, so it's not like one type of antibody can kill all the types of pathogen. No, it's not like that. So for every pathogen, this acquired immunity is specific. It is dealing with every pathogen specifically, okay, differently. So it is specific for every pathogen. It is specific for every pathogen. Now, talking about the another property, that is diversity. There is a variety. It's not like acquired immunity can only recognize a few types of pathogens, okay? It's not like it can recognize only a few type of bacteria or a few type of viruses, no. It can recognize variety, diversity of pathogens. So that is the next property. It can recognize variety of pathogens. Variety of pathogens. Next property is beta discrimination. Next property is what? Discrimination. So this property, discrimination, that means it can distinguish between what is mine and what is not mine. What has come from outside. If there is something which has come from outside, that is considered as non-self. That does not belong to your body. So your acquired immunity can distinguish between self and non-self. Self means it belongs to your body. So if something belongs to your body, will not be destroyed by the immune system, right? But if something which does not belongs to your body and coming from outside, that will definitely be destroyed by the immune system, right? So it is amazing, isn't it? Next property, and it is a very, very important property, okay, that is memory. So memory is a great property of the acquired immunity. Because of the memory, it will remember every pathogen, okay. So consider this as a pathogen. Now it is coming into my body. So now my immune system will look at it, analyze it, will see the structure, and it will see that okay, it is a pathogen, it has come to cause the disease. So now let me produce antibodies. Then slowly it will start preparing antibodies, okay. But by the time this pathogen has done the disease, now I am suffering from the disease, now I got cured from the disease. But now my immune system is getting angry that this time I was not able to kill the pathogen. But if it will come again, I will definitely remember and I will definitely kill it. So that is the power of memory, okay. Now I got cured. Now again next time it is coming into my body. Now my immune system already knows this, right? My immune system already knows this pathogen because it has the memory of the previous encounter. It has the memory of the first encounter. Okay, so now this time a highly intensified response is going to come and the antibodies are going to kill this pathogen and I will not get the disease this time, right? So this is something called as, you have seen the two different types of responses by my immune system. First time when the pathogen came, the immune response was slow, was of low intensity, just like when you meet anybody for the first time. Your response will be very low, like hi, how are you, from where are you, right? But when you meet that person another time, second time or next time, you'll be hi, how are you, like that, na? So your immune response will also be like that, okay? So memory means it can store the memory. Your acquired immunity can store the memory of pathogen or antigen. Store the memory of the pathogen. So that is why two types of responses are coming. First is primary response. Second is secondary response, which can also be called as Anamnestic response. Anamnestic response. So, I have told you already, primary response will be of low intensity. Primary response comes when the pathogen or antigen is coming into the body for the first time. Alright. So, it comes when antigen comes for the first time. So, it will be of low intensity. It will be of low intensity, but the secondary response will come when antigen comes again. When antigen comes again for the next time and very next time and then again next time, whenever it will come again, your immune system will recognize it because your immune system has a memory. Okay, it has stored the memory. So now it will be of high intensity. It will be very quick and it will be of high intensity. So I think now you have understood the differences between innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate immunity is specific or non-specific? It is non-specific, whereas acquired immunity is highly specific. Okay, so these were the two types of immunity. So let us go back and see. Here what I have written is innate immunity. In this innate immunity, you can see the skin is an example of innate immunity. We all have got these barriers. Skin is a physical barrier, everyone. So the organs, tissues and cells which you are born with and which are helping you so that you will not get the disease, right? So those are coming under innate immunity. Now acquired immunity is the immunity which develops after the birth, during the lifetime it develops, right? Now in acquired immunity also there are types. So I am going to explain these types to you now, the types of acquired immunity. It is very interesting to know what is active immunity, what is passive immunity. Okay, so let's start what is active and what is passive. Okay, so let us understand with the help of the example. Okay, so whenever you want to eat something, if you are preparing it for your own, okay, if you are preparing it for yourself, you are actively participating in the process. Okay, your energy will be utilized, you are doing your own work, that is an active process. But you are simply ordering it from outside, or else you are ordering to your mother that mama I wants to eat this, and your mother is preparing, then that is a passive process because you are not involved. Similarly, when the host body, for example, this pathogen is coming into my body. So my body is the host body, right? Because the pathogen is coming into my body. So my immune system will produce antibodies. So it is active or passive? It is active. But when this pathogen is coming into my body and I am taking the antibodies from outside, I am not making it, I am taking it. So that is passive process. So here you can see a B cell. Okay, what you can see here, this is a B cell, everyone. This is a B cell, B lymphocyte. This B lymphocyte is going to produce the antibodies. These are antibodies. The Y-shaped structure is antibody. So now I am not discussing the antibody structure. I am simply telling you the cells, the B cells are producing the antibodies. When it will produce the antibodies? When pathogen will come, right? So here our immune system is producing the antibodies. So this is an active process. So this is active immunity. But whenever ready-made antibodies are given to the patient, this is a blood vessel in which you can see blood and blood cells. So when ready-made antibodies are given, that is passive immunity. So it is very, very easy to understand the active and passive immunity. Now let us make it more interesting. Okay, so there are further types of active and passive immunity. Active immunity can be of two further types. there can be natural active immunity, and there can be artificial active immunity. Artificial active immunity. Okay. So now let us suppose this pathogen is coming into my body during a natural infection. Naturally it is coming into my body. Nobody is telling the pathogen you go to Madhu ma'am's body. Okay. Nobody is telling this pathogen. This pathogen is coming to my body on its own. Right. So that is now my body will produce what? Antibodies. So natural active immunity is developed when naturally the pathogen is coming into the host body. So we can write during natural infections. During natural infections. During natural infections. But I don't want my students to get the disease, right? I have got this pathogen. Now I have got the disease. Okay. But I don't want all of you to get the disease. So what I am doing? I am making a vaccine. Okay. So I am taking so many pathogens. Okay. So many pathogens I am taking, and I am just killing them, or I am inactivating them. And now I am injecting into your body. So what will happen? In your body also, your immune system will make antibodies, isn't it? So it is an active process or passive process? It is an active process, because I am giving you pathogen in the killed form. I am not giving you antibodies. You are only making your own antibodies. But this pathogen has not come to your body naturally. I have given it to you. So it is an artificial process. So whenever we are getting vaccines, we are getting the pathogen specific for a specific disease. Okay, and that's how we are prevented from that disease, because we will establish the memory which I have told you already. Right? So when I will give you this pathogen in the killed form, you all will be developing antibodies. And when naturally this pathogen, the same pathogen comes to your body, you will give secondary response and you will be saved, because secondary response is highly intensified response. So it is ensuring that the pathogen will be destroyed. Right? So isn't it interesting? So artificial active immunity is coming by the vaccines. By the vaccines. Coming to passive immunity. Okay. Coming to the passive immunity. This is also very interesting. Sometimes we are getting the antibodies naturally. So natural passive immunity. But sometimes we have to get the antibodies, okay, from outside. So that is artificial passive immunity. Okay. So let us understand. See, what can be a natural process by which we are getting antibodies? This is very, very interesting to know that our mother has done a lot for us. Do you all agree? Yes. Even before birth, when we were in the mother's womb, we have got antibodies from our mother through the placenta. So pregnancy is a natural process. Placenta formation is a natural process, and naturally the antibodies are coming from mother to fetus. Which antibodies? Very, very important question. Which antibodies? IgG. This is a type of antibody which can cross placenta. So IgG antibodies going from mother to fetus. Mother to fetus. Fetus is the developing baby inside the womb of the mother. So IgG antibodies from mother to fetus are going through placenta. Through placenta. So this is a natural process. We are getting ready-made antibodies. Now your mother is preparing food for you. You are getting already made food, ready-made food. And before birth, you have got IgG antibodies. Now even after birth, when you have not started eating food, you were dependent on mother's milk, right? Through that mother's milk also, she has given you antibodies. Which antibodies? IgA antibodies, everyone. Another example, IgA, A for apple. That's what you will start learning from the childhood. So it is the starting, right? So when you start taking the breastfeed, when you start taking the mother's milk, that mother's milk is very, very rich in IgA antibodies. So these IgA antibodies, they are coming from mother to infant, from mother to infant through colostrum, through mother's milk, which can also be called as colostrum. What is colostrum, everyone? Mother's milk. Okay, so your mother has done a lot for you, which your fathers can never do, right? All right. Anyways, now coming to the artificial passive immunity. So artificial passive immunity is given when, there is an emergency, whenever you require immediate immune response. For example, I will give you the example of snake bite. In case of snake bite, the snake has injected the poison, the venom, which is very, very toxic, okay, due to which death can occur. So immediately we have to inject anti-venom. So we have prepared the antibodies against the venom, and we are giving the injection of anti-venom so that the person's life can be saved. So in this case, artificial passive, we are giving ready-made antibodies by an artificial process. It is not a natural process. Here it was a natural process that from the mother the baby is getting the antibodies. But here it is an artificial process where you are giving antibodies. So it is required when immediate immune response is required. When immediate immune response is required. For example, anti-venom. Anti-venom is given in case of snake bite. Similarly, there is another example, that is antitoxin. So if you see these terms, antitoxin, anti-venom, anti-serum or anti-tetanus serum, there is a serum which is made against tetanus so that it will kill the toxin, it will neutralize the toxin of the tetanus causing bacteria. Okay, so in the anti-venom, in the antitoxin, in the anti-serum, there are antibodies. There are already made antibodies which will kill the pathogen, because that pathogen can harm you and that pathogen can even be deadly. That toxin, that toxic substance, that poison can be deadly. Okay, so in that case, whenever immediate response is required, we will take ready-made antibodies. So this was the concept of active and passive immunity. These are the two types of acquired immunity on the basis of the participation of the host immune system. Okay, if the host immune system is actively participating in producing the antibodies, active immunity. If you are not making it, you are taking it from outside. That is passive immunity. I hope you have understood active and passive immunity. Now quickly I am going to introduce you to the two more terms. Here we have two more terms. One is humoral immunity, one is cellular immunity. Okay, these are also the types of acquired immunity only, but the basis is different. Active and passive is on the basis of participation of the host body. These two types are on the basis of which cells are providing the immunity. B lymphocytes are involved or T lymphocytes are involved. So these are the two cells I have told you in the starting itself. Yes or no? Alright. So now humoral immunity. Humoral immunity can also be called as antibody mediated immunity. Antibody mediated immunity. So here, first of all, why it is called as humoral immunity? Because antibodies are present in the blood. Blood is a humor. Blood is a fluid. Humor means fluid. So these antibodies are present in the humor, in the blood. Alright. And these antibodies are produced by B cells. So antibody mediated immunity is provided by which lymphocytes, everyone? B lymphocytes or B cells. These B lymphocytes are going to produce antibodies. They are going to produce antibodies, and these antibodies, they are going to kill the antigen. Alright. Now, coming to the cellular immunity, which can also be called as cell mediated immunity. Cell mediated immunity. So, which cells are involved in this immunity? The cells which are involved it is provided by T lymphocytes. T lymphocytes or T cells. So there are only two types of lymphocytes we have, okay? B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. Which lymphocytes produces antibodies? B lymphocytes. B lymphocytes are going to produce antibodies, but there are some T lymphocytes which are going to help in the process of production of antibodies. Okay, so T lymphocytes are of four types: T helper cells, cytotoxic T cells, suppressor T cells, and memory T cells. These are helper T cells. These are helper T cells. H stands for helper T cells. They are going to help the B lymphocytes. They are going to help B cells to produce antibodies. So they are very nice. Yes, isn't it? I have told you, our body is teaching us many things, even life lessons. So we should also help others, isn't it? Be kind to others. So now, that's how T helper cell helps the B cells to produce antibodies, right? Now the cytotoxic T cell or killer T cell, it is going to kill the cells. Okay, first of all, it is cytotoxic T cell. It is cytotoxic T cell. C stands for cytotoxic. So it is toxic for the cells. Cyto means cell. It is toxic for the cells. It is cytotoxic T cell. So it is going to kill the cells in which pathogen is present or antigen is present. So it is directly going to kill that cell. Okay. Now suppressor T cell. S stands for suppressor, or they can also be called as regulatory T cells. So suppressor T cells are doing the work when the other cells are doing overwork. Okay, they need to get suppressed. Okay, so that unnecessarily so many antibodies should not be produced. Unnecessarily so many other cells will not be killed, right? So they are going to suppress the T helper cells and the T C cells. They are going to suppress TH cells and T C cells and TM cells, T memory cells. They are going to store the memory of the pathogen. Okay, that is a very easy function. So they are going to store memory of pathogen or antigen. Memory of antigen. Okay, similarly, I will tell you here B lymphocytes also are going to differentiate into two types of cells. One is plasma or effector B cells, and one is memory B cells. Memory B cells. Okay, so there are two types of B cells: memory B cells plasma or effector B cells. If somebody will ask you which among these are going to produce antibodies. So, antibodies are produced by plasma B cells. They are going to produce antibodies. But memory B cells will do the same function as of memory T cells. They are going to store the memory of the pathogen. Okay. So, I hope now all these terms are clear to you. All the terms I hope all the terms are clear to you. Like, you know, innate immunity means what? Acquired immunity means what? Active immunity means what? Passive immunity means what? Okay. Humoral immunity means what? And cellular immunity means what? Okay. I have explained you all these terms nicely. Innate immunity, acquired immunity, active immunity, passive immunity, humoral immunity, cellular immunity. Innate and acquired are the first two types of immunity. Then all these types are the types of acquired immunity. They have different bases. Active and passive on the basis of participation of host. Humoral and cellular on the basis of which lymphocytes are involved in providing the immunity. So it is very easy concept. It is a critical concept. If you have understood once, you can never forget. Okay. So now please stay healthy. Okay. You can boost your immune system by following all these. Okay. Please do some exercise. Take a healthy diet, balanced diet. Stay hydrated during your studies. And make a good social connection. You should have good friends. Okay, you should have a good circle so that whenever you want to share anything, you can share with them. You take adequate sleep because it is very important, and say no to alcohol and smoking. And obviously, proper vaccination is also helping you to prevent from various infectious diseases. Okay, thank you, my future doctors. Okay, and if you like the content, please hit the like button and you subscribe for more. Thank you and all the best.